Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good day everyone. My name is Sunayaran. In this opportunity, I would like to make a video assignment presentation as my assignment for making academic speaking lesson to our mentor, Sir Muhammad Chandra, SPD MD. So, about the topic of my presentation, I'm going to explain about the students' academic speaking skills achievement in terms of communication based on their personality and gender. That I gather this from Asian EFL Journal as my resources and references. The purpose of my presentation is on giving in the audience a view about correlation of students' communication, their students' personality, and their academic speaking skills achievement based on their gender. First, I will start with explaining about researchers' method on analyzing and observing the relation between the man and woman in the most basic stereotypical expectation that they will be different rather than the same, to see whether there is a significant correlation on them or not. The data researchers gather is from the questionnaires and tests. Second is the literature point of view about the differences in man and woman during communication based on the statement of the expert. Next, I will describe about our finding and discuss it here in my presentation. Finally, my suggestion as a student who still studies and still needs so much to learn. And here is my outline of my presentation. And about the time, I don't really know how long my presentation will last. So I hope everybody sit still and stand by on focusing my video presentation. Thank you. All right, guys, let's go to the body. Researchers' methodology analyze. The questionnaires are taken to analyze the level of students, communication, and their personality. The questionnaires consist of 55 questions which relevant with women communications and personality. The sample researchers use are 46 students. 26 of them are women and 20 of them are men. Based on the type of student's personality, there were two types of personality, extrovert and introvert, adapted from Eysenck personality questionnaires. The last data was taken from students' academic speaking tests. Furthermore, the correlation between gender and students' communication skill was negative 0.004 or less than 0.05. Students' personality and their communication skills at significant level of 0.100 or more than 0.05, and students' personality and gender at significant level of 0.145 or more than 0.05. So that means there is not any significant correlation between students' communication, students' personality, and gender on their academic speaking skills achievement. And as a result, it can be said that student personality and gender will not affect their communication skill. Literature review. Diverse perception of communication begin before the ability to speak. As a young children observing the action of others which help them to identify who they are, Wood 2011 states that we are born into a gender society that guides us to understanding of gender and shape as personal gender identities. At the young ages, children will begin to form ideas about who they are by observing the society. Wood discussed the idea of a self as object, or the ability to think about, to reflect upon, and respond to ourselves, as well as the monitoring what takes place inside of us as we observe and regulate our attitudes and behavior. Wood explained that men and women grow in different gender speech communities and thus development different communication styles. Wood states a speech community exists when people share understanding about goals of communication. So that means people communication in a different way, depending on many things, where people are from, how and where people were brought up, their educational background, their age, and it also can depend on gender. According to Woods, Women also sustain conversation by inviting others to speak and by prompting them to elaborate their ideas in a speech style known as maintenance work. Also, Newman et al. 2008 discussed the similarities between men and women in communication as well. Newman 2008, contrary to popular stereotypes, men and women were distinguishable in their references to sexuality, anger, time, their use of first-person plural, number of words, and question mark employed, and the insertion of qualifiers in the form of exclusion words. So based on our discussion about the differences and the similarities between men and women in communication, the researchers would like to discuss about academic speaking skills achievement in terms of communication, personality, and gender. In this case, the discussion focused on the student as a young people who will be in control to develop the nation, which is they should be capable of being a superior human to compete with others. So the student should have a mentally healthy to do this duty later. According to Atkinson 2004, personality is a pattern of behavior and way of thinking which determine the individual adjustment to the environment. Owisel 2004, personality can also develop into more internal, something relatively permanent guiding, direction, and organizing daily activities of individual. So as a conclusion, it can conclude that personality regarding individuals' differences that distinguish one individual from another individual which is durable, so not easy to change throughout the life. Hans J. Isaac described a theory of personality, extrovert and introvert, to suggest the difference in the reaction to the environment and the social behavior. These types of personality describe the unique of the individual in behavior to stimulus as the embodiment of character, such like temperament, physical, intellectual adjust to the environment. Moreover, Zhang explained extrovert individual affected by objective world, the world outside them, while introvert individual affected by subject world, the world in them. The orientation focus on thoughts, feeling, and action mainly determined by subjective factor. His soul is closed, difficult to get along. It is difficult to connect to others and do not attracted to other attention. Now we come to the finding and discussion. The result of the questionnaire said that the ability of students to communicate were in the middle level, while the common personality types are extrovert in common, based on the questionnaires, of course. Then the test result, as I explained just now, states that relationship between gender and communication skill of students didn't show any significant difference between the achievement of students' speaking skill with a type of introvert or extrovert personality. Students' academic speaking skills achievement with communication skill, as well as academic speaking skill achievement with the gender. Conclusion. The result of this analysis show us no difference in academic speaking in the academic speaking skills achievement, both in terms of the type of personality, which is extrovert and introvert, the communication, the skills, and the gender. Technically, it can be evaluated from measuring instrument, the students and research design. Measuring instrument use a node to extend to which the measuring instrument that can distinguish the individual personality types in introvert and extrovert personality types. And our limitation includes the implementation of incidental research data. Consequently, the researchers cannot control it. In short, the students do not answer the questions which reflect to the situation of themselves. In conclusion, now that we know that there was no big deal between women and men in their speaking academic skill based on their personality, communication, and skill or gender, based on our finding in this presentation, I would like to have a suggestion to students who are still learning. we know that the statement of the expert explained about individual with introvert personality will tend to have a problem to themselves in the future. So I hope to all of us as their environment to have socialize with them and to get a good communication to the introvert personality as we can. Okay. That's all I want to say about my suggestion. And that means this is the end about my presentation. Thank you for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and have a nice day.